All right, this is the Busted Play podcast, and this is the special Baseball Hall of Fame edition. And today with me, I have the guy's microphone's too loud. We have Gator, a guy who called in the other day on a football show. Joel Marsh here with us, someone I know who really knows baseball, and especially these people who the three guys who got inducted into the Hall of Fame this yesterday, actually, on Thursday. And, of course, Astro legend Jeff Bagwell, one of my players growing up who I really idolize. I try to bat like him all the time. He got in with 86.2% of the Hall of Fame vote. Then you have Tim Raines, Montreal Expos, coming in with 86%. And then also Ivan Rodriguez, another guy who I guess you can say idolized with baseball. He's barely getting in with 76% of the votes. So, Joel, first off, do you think, these three people obviously deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but is anyone you think got snubbed?
Oh, yeah, there's three outstanding baseball players on this list that obviously every one of them deserves to get in. You've got, as always, people that are left out. Of course, the what if will always come up about Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle, Mr. Las Vegas, big time baller, gambler, ladies' man. I spend everybody's money in mine.
Exactly.
Pete Rose and what he did to baseball. I am really myself over that. The man was probably the best baseball player, if not definitely in the top 5 that ever played the game. And, not letting him in is just a tragedy to baseball itself. We all make mistakes in life, and he made one that apparently is going to put a big time, asterisk on his career.
All right. Well, you know pretty well what happened with Pete Rose, right? Like, kind of the story of his gambling situation. And for the people out there who don't know, can you go in a little bit on it, like what he gambled on? Do you know all that stuff?
Honestly, I do not.
See, what happened was he did not gamble when he was a player, which I think, it might have not have been as, I guess you say, controversial, but he did it as he was a coach with the Reds. And he came out, I think, 4 years ago saying that, I admit it, I gambled on games. I was in a bit of a money struggle, all that good stuff. But he said he never bet against the Reds. Like, he never tried to throw the game. So, what do you think, as a player, he should still get into the Hall of Fame? Absolutely.
I always go back and there's a lot of people that disagree with Charles Barkley in a comment that he made several years ago. Charles Barkley's comment one time when he got a DWI was, a reporter, somebody from the media, I made the comment to him, how can you do that? You're supposed to be a role model for all the children out there. And Barkley responded with the comment, I'm a man, I'm a basketball player, I'm an athlete. If you want to be a role model, then maybe you should be a teacher, a minister, something like that. Pete Rose was a baseball player, was a manager coach, to my knowledge, which I'm not a huge Pete Rose fan, but, I do know that he was one hell of a baseball player, and he did what he was paid to do and asked to do by fans, and that was play baseball, and play baseball at an extremely high level.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible situation. They'll never get in, I think. And maybe someday somebody in baseball will wake up.
Okay. Yeah.
All I got to say.
Well, first off, Jose Canseco, you know how he is being Jose Canseco. And what if Kurt Schilling was also in the voting? And Kurt Schilling really did. He got 45% of the vote, which definitely was not enough to get in. But this was his fifth ballot to be on. So he really hasn't done anything, I guess you can say, to ruin the reputation of baseball, except make himself look like an idiot on social media. And Kurt Schilling said that he thinks that's why he's not getting voted in, because he criticized the media too much, in which that's who votes these players in, or Hall of Famers and the media, which the media really, I think, makes a large sum of the voting up. And then, you know, you also had, this is a really stacked list, and you think about it, you know, Vladimir Guerrero had 71%, and this is just me being 21 years old, but Vladimir Guerrero was a very strange name for me to see. I did not think anything about him ever being in the Hall of Fame, but now that I look back at it, the only time I ever watched Vladimir is when he was with Texas going into the World Series, and that was in his younger years, and then I looked up his stats, and he's definitely Hall of Fame worthy. Almost got in with 71% of the vote on his first ballot. But one thing I want to talk about with Ivan Pudge Rodriguez, I don't know who I'm more excited for, Jeff Bagwell or Pudge. But I remember going to see Ivan Rodriguez playing in the ballpark in Arlington. That was my first game I ever saw, and he actually hit a home run that game. But he's the the second catcher ever behind Johnny Bench to be inducted on his first ballot. So what made Ivan Rodriguez so special? Because, you know, he's, you know, a 5'9" guy and about 190 pounds. What made him so special to stand out from everybody else?
Well, you know, being a baseball player is one thing. Being a fan favorite is another. A lot of these players that come from Puerto Rico or, you know, come over to the United States, get an opportunity to play baseball. He came over here, instantly excelled with the media, instantly excelled with the baseball fans, and honestly, in a position where hitting had kind of become extinct, he rose to the top. Probably the best hitting catcher to ever play the game, with the exception, you know, from some things that I read, you know, maybe Johnny Bench. But Pudge Rodriguez, you know, was just a rock behind the plate, a wall, and had a stick, you know, to go with it. And, you know, kind of a boring position back in the 90s and back in, you know, the early 2000s. There wasn't a lot of hype. It wasn't a real sexy thing, the catcher position. And Pudge just, you know, he came in there and, man, he had a stroke. He had a big stick, man, and the fans loved him, you know, and, you know, he was great for baseball.
Okay. So before we move on to talk about Jeff Bagwell, just the career stats of Pudge, you think about it, this, you know, if you follow baseball, you know, catchers don't really have stats like this. His career average was 296, which was, you know, pretty good, pretty great. He probably could have played one or two more years and joined a 3,000 hit club. He ended his career with 2,844 hits, 311 home runs, 1,332 RBIs, and 127 steals, which is kind of catchers didn't really ever do that. Ivan Rodriguez, I thought I said Alex, but Ivan Rodriguez, from Puerto Rico, played for Texas from 91 to 02, and then he won the World Series with the Florida Marlins in 2003, and then from 04 to 08, played for the Tigers, where I think his career rejuvenated whenever he was playing there in Detroit, and then also for Houston in 09, and then Washington in his career for 2 years when he retired in 2011. But this is something I did not know. I did not know Ivan Rodriguez won an MVP in 1999 with the Rangers. So that was a very interesting stat for me. 14-time All-Star, one World Series champion with the Miami Marlins, I'm sorry, not Miami, Florida Marlins back then. I typed in Miami.
Sure did.
But a 7-time slugger, silver slugger. So one of my favorite players, Ivan Rodriguez. Moving on to my other favorite player, I think the only reason I really liked him as a kid was definitely his batting stance. Very unorthodox, and basically his butt was 90 degrees from the ground.
Yeah.
But Jeff Bagwell played for the Houston Astros, first baseman, played 15 years in Houston. And what I can remember, which I remember a lot about Jeff Bagwell, he's the reason I've always wanted a goatee. He's the reason I always wanted to hit home runs, and he is the reason that I really fell in love with the game of baseball because, you and my grandpa would watch the Rangers and the Astros, and I grew to love the Rangers, but I grew to love Jeff Bagwell as well. But Jeff Bagwell, he was an MVP too. I did not know that. He was an MVP. He was a Rookie of the Year 1991, and then a 4-time All-Star and a 3-time Silver Slugger. But Joel, what are your impressions of Jeff Bagwell? And definitely deserving to make the Hall of Fame, but it was his 7th try to get into the Hall of Fame.
Well, I get all excited about the Astros because I grew up in Houston, and back when the Astrodome was there, back in the late 80s, early 90s, I was actually fortunate enough to see the Astros play every team in the National League.
Wow.
At the Astrodome. That was the expansion teams as well, back when the Marlins and the Rockies at first came into the league. And you talk about Jeff Bagwell. You talk about a kid that came into the Boston Red Sox organization as a third baseman. Came to Houston real quickly. Was moved over to first base. And, back in the 80s, when it really started, it really changed over probably in the 2000s and late 90s. But back in the early 90s, late 90s, a first baseman in baseball, Major League Baseball, was usually a washed-up, retired veteran. Mm-hmm. Previously a catcher sometimes, an outfielder who couldn't run, had bad knees, and they would stick him over at first base. Jeff Bagwell really revolutionized that position because he could move, he could cover an area on the baseball diamond, swiftly, had a great glove, and had an arm and could gun you down quick, and Jeff Bagwell really, took first base, and turned it around to, a very important position on the diamond because, he was a third baseman coming in, transferred over to first base, He
put the athleticism at first base and what the MLB kind of evolved that position to be a little bit.
Absolutely. And, a great hitter. Just really, probably one of the best contact hitters that I have ever seen.
Yeah. 2,314 career hits.
Unreal.
For a first baseman. Usually you just see home runs for first baseman, not a lot of hits.
Unreal. And could play the long ball as well.
Yeah.
And it's such an important, part of his team. When the Astros, were struggling really back, in the early 90s. They did turn around a little bit later on, the late part of the 90s, but came into Houston, took the fans over, with him and Craig Biggio, just really the leaders in the two most dynamic players the Houston Astros had. And, really cool that Jeff Paper Bagwell is what Berman used to call him.
Yeah.
But really cool that he made it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and if he would have stayed healthier a couple more years, that he basically ended his baseball career. He didn't really retire yet, but 2005 year when the Astros played the Sox in the World Series and got swept, he was still on the team. He just could not play. But I think if he was still healthy, an older Bagwell, that might have helped the Astros a little bit, and because they definitely could not hit off of that White Sox team to save their life.
He was actually the hitting coach there for like 3 months, but he hated it.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
And he quit.
Yeah, because he's a young guy who just got done playing baseball, and now he's teaching kids to play baseball.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that? Enjoy life first.
That's right.
That's exactly what Barry Bonds did. But we'll talk about Barry Bonds in a minute. But Jeff Bagwell, 15 years, all with the Houston Astros. He got drafted by the Red Sox. He did not play one thing with he quickly got moved to Houston, and but averaged 297 batting average, 2,314 hits, 449 home runs, and over 1,500 RBIs. And this is a stat that stuck out to me: 1,401 walks. So that's definitely intimidated all the pitchers in the league.
Absolutely.
And
had the biggest chaw, maybe besides Lenny Dykstra, of anybody in the majors.
Oh, you think?
Oh yeah, man. He packed that thing in there.
Oh yeah. That's back when no one cared about tobacco killed you. They just straight up. I don't even know if you're allowed to do that anymore in MLB.
I think you get fined or something.
Yeah, I know you can keep sunflower seeds, but some people I think try to hide it with sunflower seeds or something.
Right.
All right, but the third and final inductee this year, Tim Raines, the Montreal Expos from 1979 to 1988, but he's retiring as an Expo. If you're a younger person, this is the team that got moved to Washington, D.C. to become the Nationals. So let's go ahead and say that.
Wow.
The Expos moved to Washington, D.C. in the early 2000s. Then he stopped playing for a couple of years and went to Chicago White Sox in 91 and 95. Then New York Yankees 96 to 98. Oakland Athletics 1999, and the Baltimore Orioles 2000, and then the Florida Marlins 2002 when he finally retired. But a 23-year baseball career. I don't care what sport you're in and how much it takes a toll on your body. 23 years is a very long time.
Absolutely. And Tim Rock Raines.
What do they call him, the Rock? Do you know?
Because the dude looked like a rock.
Oh yeah.
Chiseled. Now I really don't know if that's what the dude really looked like a rock. Fortunate enough to see him play at the Astrodome a few times. Played center field. Saw him gun. This is no joke. Saw the dude gun somebody from center field out at the warning track trying to tag.
Like a Bo Jackson type throw.
Oh, it was unreal.
Oh my God.
The dude, great power, great speed. Played on Montreal, which, had a great long career there, with the exception, I think, of maybe 1 year. They did win the World Series, but not a great organization, not an American team, a Canadian team, another great guy with the media, another good baseball guy, and, one heck of an athlete. A lot of fun to watch as a player, man. A lot of fun to watch.
He's the type of player like I guess you could say, trying to think of someone who doesn't have a lot of accolades to his name, but he's going to be remembered forever. And like someone who doesn't achieve too much in their career, like championship-wise or MVP-wise. I'm going to guess someone like Craig Biggio.
Craig Biggio,
because he doesn't have a lot of accolades, no MVPs. He won the World Series in 2001 with the Yankees. He was a All-Star MVP in 1987. Then he had one Silver Slugger award, but he was a 7-time All-Star. But when you said he had great power, I noticed one stat. He only had 170 home runs, but the power, because I watched some highlights film on him, but the power you're talking about is just how fast the ball came off of his bat. Absolutely. And the line drives were just looked like they were just a streak of lightning just going across the field. But he averaged a 294 batting average. He had 2,600 hits, 808 stolen bases, and so definitely speed there, and then 1,300 walks. So this was another guy who struck fear in the pitchers, not as a home run threat, but basically if there's a person on second, there's a good chance that guy was coming around. Absolutely. But those are the three inductees. You have Bagwell, Raines, and Pudge Rodriguez. But before we end the show, Joe, I want to ask you this question: who else do you think should be in the Hall of Fame that have, like you said, an asterisk beside their name? Like we talked about Pete Rose earlier. But you also have a Mark McGuire, who I don't even see on the list on the ballot. Barry Bonds, but even like Roger Clemens, because Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds both got over 50% of the vote. But this is both of their fifth time being voted on. And you see a guy like Roger Clemens, who one of the most dominant pitchers in modern baseball.
Let's just start with a list here and look at it and work our way across. Mark McGuire. We talked about P. Rose earlier. Mark McGuire, Oakland Athletic for years. The Bash Brothers, him and Jose Canseco. Somebody that was brought to the plate, great intensity when he came up there to hit, great power. Once again, unfortunately, baseball is now, unlike any other sport. It's almost like you're expected to be not human and not make mistakes. And the reality of the whole situation is that I don't care what you took or what sports enhancing drug that you put in your body. The things that Mark McGuire has done in baseball, was not accomplished because he used any type of sports enhancing drug. It's accomplished because he was a great talent, a natural talent, natural power, great baseball guy, great fan. Fans loved him. Yeah. It sucks. It really sucks that how can Mark McGuire be passed up on the Hall of Fame?
This is the same guy who I remember watching on the TV playing against the Astros in Cardinal Stadium, in Busch Stadium, and this dude hit a ball. This might say something about maybe him juicing a little bit, but this ball went over the stands in center field and landed inside the neon lights where it said Budweiser, I believe. And I think that just shows how strong this guy was. But before even all this performance-enhancing rumors got started, his second year in the league, he hit 49 home runs. So, okay, he played probably about 16, 17 years. I can't really count that fast. But his first year in the league, 3 home runs. Then he hit 49, 32, 33, 39, 22, 42, 9 and 9 because he was injured, and then 39, 52, 58, 34, 24, and then I think the league record, 70 home runs in 1 year.
70 HR.
Yes.
That is freaking unbelievable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then the year after that, he hit 65.
I mean, that's just, that is just unreal. Oakland Athletics, Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco, Ricky Henderson. It's kind of, a lot of times I think these teams in Oakland and Los Angeles, they were kind of considered bad boys at times.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Mark McGuire with his attitude or anything, because he was a great guy for the game. He went to the Cardinals and was even a better player. I mean, just great. Mm-hmm. Fans loved him. 70 home runs, and you're going to keep the man out of the Hall of Fame.
And if you look at this stat, too, it shows that how much he would help any team. He was with St. Louis at the time. This was in 1998 and 1999. He hit 70 home runs in 1998, 147 RBIs, which that's about half of his home runs were solo home runs, to where basically no one could get on base, but when he came up, there's probably a good 30% chance you're going to get a run. Mm-hmm. And then the same year, next year, he had 65 home runs and 147 RBIs again, which is about half the time it was a solo home run. So this is a guy who would get close. He averaged close to a run per game.
Dynamic player, man. Absolutely.
And I would love to see, I understand, Jose Canseco coming out telling everybody who, because even in his book, or he went on a Twitter rant yesterday, Jose Canseco did, and said that if you're going to let Jeff Bagwell in, and he put in parentheses, says, who I knew took steroids, right. How can you not let Roger Clemens or even all these other players? He's not even making a case for himself. He's talking about other people.
Right.
And he's saying that the selection committee is complete hypocrites and all that. But then, okay, didn't you also have another guy in Sammy Sosa, who was on the ballot for the 5th time?
Yeah.
And this is a guy who I think was his 2nd year in the league, battling Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco for the home run record in a season. I think he had like 67 home runs in his second year or something like that.
Right there.
And he only got 8% of the votes this year to get in. And I don't know why, but I think there's more evidence towards Sammy Sosa cheating than anyone else. And I think it had to do with him getting caught using a corked bat in the middle of a game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember he hit the bat shattered, and the ump was like, yo, hold up.
Yeah.
What is this? And he said, oh, I accidentally grabbed a practice bat, which is most likely the biggest BS story I've ever heard in my life. But then you have, like, okay, this guy right here who he only got 0.5% of the vote, but I know who's going to make it one day, and that's Jason Varitek, catcher for the Red Sox. He's the only player to win Little League World Series, High School State Championship, College World Series, Olympic medal or something like that, and a World Series. The only person to ever do that. And I don't care what his stats say. I think he deserves to be there just because of that category right there.
He's a winner.
He is.
The dude is a winner.
He's not one of the best catchers ever. He might be one of the best leaders ever playing with the Red Sox. That coming back from the Yankees 3-0 back in I think it was 2006, 7, I believe. 2006. Yeah. And great catcher, had a cannon for an arm. But let's go ahead and talk about the big one in the room, who is Barry Bonds, the all-time leader in home runs. And I think people are hesitant to call him the home run king like they would Hank Aaron. Because, Hank Aaron was just a physical specimen who didn't even look. He wasn't a Bo Jackson. He didn't look big. He didn't have a physical stature that you would think he'd be the home run legend. But he just had a great bat speed and strength in his lower half to where he would just sit there and just crush the ball. But Barry Bonds, this is my argument right here with these performance-enhancing drugs. These performance-enhancing drugs, well, Barry Bonds definitely, he had power before he got really big. His first year, he had 16 home runs, 25, then 24, and then 33, and then he had 46 in 1993. But then it started getting up there to where he had 73 home runs. I think that's the record in 2001 for most home runs in a season. But performance-enhancing drugs, it makes you stronger. It might make you have more bat speed, but it has nothing to do with your hand-eye coordination, with your decision-making, with your... Because it's just, people who don't follow baseball that much, I don't think you understand how hard it is to hit a baseball in the major leagues. You have, I think it's 2 seconds, or like less than a second, for it to get to you have like a 0.18 of a second to decide if you're going to swing the baseball or not, to swing the bat or not. And when you have guys like at least Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire, who they're great hitters if these Major League Baseball teams are hiring them as their hitting coach. Absolutely. With the Marlins hiring Barry Bonds for a couple of years and the Dodgers with Mark McGwire, you just know they're great hitters. So, you can say that they cheated, which, obviously they did if they were found guilty. Even with Roger Clemens, you cannot sit there and inject something in your butt to make you throw the ball so accurate and have a crazy curveball, or to even just have the mentality to sit there and throw 8 innings a game. And Roger Clemens, that's someone else I want to talk about in a minute. But what are your thoughts? Do you think Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame even with these accusations, but because he has 762 home runs, the leading home run hitter?
Once again, you said it right there. I mean, the guy, is a home run king.
Yeah.
Now, I do remember growing up. Probably I was probably maybe high school, and I'll never forget watching baseball one season, coming back around the next season, and I'm like, oh my God, is that Barry Bonds?
Yes. He got huge.
To be freaking kidding me.
Where I got these stats on, I looked at his it said height and weight. It said 6'1", 195, and I was like, bull,
right.
bull.
Yeah,
Mark McGwire was the only one that looked truthful.
But could play any position on that baseball field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and could probably pitch. A natural talent, a natural baseball player. Him and Bobby Bonilla played with the Pittsburgh Pirates for years. A team guy, a team man. Once again, though, baseball expects, these perfect athletes, and there's no doubt about it, just using steroids and doing things like that, it's cheating, but it's not going to make you hit 73 balls out the park, it's not going to make you, hit that curveball, that drops and, breaks your ankles, it's just, it's talent, it's hard work, and, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, and Pete Rose, cheated. All cheated, and for being left out of the Hall of Fame, baseball is cheating. Those three players right there, I can guarantee you.
Do you did you see the record-setting home run live? Were you sitting at your TV watching it? I know I was. I remember watching.
I remember watching Sammy Sosa's, or when he was in the chase. Or
yeah.
Did he hit it in San Francisco or something? I can't remember.
No, I'm talking about Barry Bonds' all-time record home run.
I can't remember if I was.
Okay, I remember this because the way he hit it, because if you were watching SportsCenter, no matter what was, I think I was actually watching a Texas Ranger game, and they were saying every time Barry Bonds comes up to bat, we're switching over to San Francisco. Right. Barry Bonds was not playing a road game; they wanted him to hit it in San Francisco, and they brought it up, and I think it was 2 days straight they were doing that. I think there was like a 2 or 3 day stretch where he didn't get that last home run. But I was watching Rangers game, and it cuts over, Barry Bonds or whatever coming up, and I think it was a 1-2 pitch. Dude sat there and he crushed it. But the way he did it made me think, well, I don't care if he cheated because this is just an amazing moment. 762nd home run. He sat there. As soon as he swung the bat, he knew it was out, and he dropped the bat and threw his hands up. And I'm getting chills just thinking about it because witnessing history and doing something like that is. Your name's going to be with Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, just all the all-time great power hitters of all time, which is definitely, I would say Babe Ruth.
And baseball has made millions of dollars off these guys.
Exactly. But again, this is not the MLB voting. This is the media.
Right.
And if...
Which all three of these guys that we've talked about so far were not media favorites.
Exactly. And
but
I'll go ahead and tell you that because I think definitely. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Working in I guess you can say I'm somewhat working in the media now here at the radio station. But the way I see things now, like even in basketball with Russell Westbrook, with Tom Brady and NFL, these guys, they ask questions to get under their skin, or they'll ask a question in an article that would make the fans start ridiculing them. And I remember whenever Barry Bonds was getting accused of using steroids, fans, I don't think it was in San Francisco, I doubt it was, but fans at other stadiums would bring syringes and actually throw them on the field toward his direction. And how could you not be pissed, at people who set that up, and you're going to blame him for going off? Oh, he's a professional athlete. You should know better.
That's right.
Like, are you kidding me? Someone's throwing a syringe right at you. You expect...
Lenny Dykstra flipped somebody off at the Astrodome.
What?
I've seen Lenny Dykstra.
Oh, yeah?
Center field. Turn around and shoot somebody in the bird.
Oh, that sounds about right. And, but here's another guy. Talk about... first let's go to Roger Clemens. Again, we got Gator, also known as Joel Marsh here, joining us, talking about the Hall of Fame inductions and who was snubbed and people who were looking forward to going in later on. But Roger Clemens left out. He got 54% of the vote. He needs 75% of the vote to get in. And what do you think about Roger Clemens? This guy threw some major heat. He career ERA 3.12, which when you think about it over a career is extremely great. He started 707 games. He had 118 complete games, 46 shutouts. He let's see, how many strikeouts did this guy had? 4,672 strikeouts.
4,000.
He only had 20 balks in his career. That is an interesting stat right there. But
Only baseball, baby.
huh?
Only baseball.
Only baseball. But this is a guy when you knew, especially in the playoff series when he was pitching, he was a very clutch pitcher, especially in the playoffs, especially when he was with the Yankees, even with Boston.
He did pitch for the Yankees.
Oh yeah, he pitched for the Boston from '84 to '96, and then from '97 to '98 he was with Toronto. I think he won a World Series with Toronto in that time. And from '99 to 2003, he pitched with the Yankees. Yeah, he's played for quite a good few teams. Then he played for the Astros '04 to '06, and then back with the Yankees in '07. Then he retired.
Yeah, the Katy Rocket.
The Rocket.
They called him. Yeah, the Katy Rocket.
He's from Katy, Texas, right?
Katy, Texas.
Katy, Texas.
I was never myself a big, huge Roger Clemens fan. An outstanding pitcher, though. When he got you in a situation, the game was on the line. He was going to bring his stuff. I think, and I can't exactly remember. I don't know if you remember or not. What was the controversy there at the end of his career where he got in trouble with
he was
some young girl or something? Wasn't it something like that? Or
well, I don't know about that. I thought you were talking about whenever he lied to Congress about using steroids. Whenever he kept appealing his suspension or something like that with the MLB, and it got to the point to where it reached Congress to where they were holding his thing to see, because this is a sport a lot of people bet on in Vegas, and they brought it all the way to Congress, and he straight up told Congress, I did not take steroids. And this is a guy in Roger Clemens who you saw a real spike in his career, just kind of like Barry Bonds in his appearance. You saw a very quick spike in his appearance. He got really big. And, this is what I don't get sometimes. Like, if you try to lie to people, Congress, smart people who, do this for a living, lawyers before they were congressmen, you straight up tell them that, in Barry Bonds, like, straight up just tell them, like, sir, I did not take steroids. I did not take steroids. I just got bigger and stronger and faster the older I got.
Yeah.
And then, whenever they say something, Barry Bonds would just crank another dinger. He'd just be like, oh, you took steroids. Oh, did I? Pop. And there it goes. But with Roger Clemens, yeah, he lied to Congress. Then they tested him again, and again it showed that they brought his test results in and said that he was taking steroids in a certain, I forgot what time period it was. But that was the huge controversy. But then it was a kind of a thing like with Ben Roethlisberger, I believe, to where they were both intoxicated, and he might have taken it a little bit too far.
Right, yeah. There was something towards the end of his career, like he was retired, that kind of put a bad deal in his past.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure has not helped his situation and getting on the Hall of Fame and the ballot. But I mean, a dominating pitcher. The game's on the line, man. That's who you wanted on the mound. Towards the end of his career in Houston, had a kind of sweet deal going for him there. He didn't travel, only pitched home games.
Mm-hmm. That's when you know you're a fan favorite.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's when you know you're running things, baby. And Katy Rocket, unbelievable fastball. But I mean, his particular case, don't think he'll ever get in. I mean, he freaking lied to Congress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly think eventually these guys will get in. I wouldn't take it too far to say that these guys might die before they get in.
Right.
Especially Pete Rose. But, if I had to give any case on anyone who should get in, I would say definitely Pete Rose before all these guys, because I think you let him in as a player and you despise him as a manager.
Right.
But then if I had to give a case for any of these guys, it would definitely be Barry Bonds, because just straight up, 762 home runs. That's with juice or without juice. That's really impressive.
Unreal.
And, you know,
I mean, he's hitting home runs like we would hit home runs on Xbox.
exactly.
Right.
He had video game numbers
Right.
almost every single year. He just had this smooth, amazing fundamental swing. It didn't hardly look like there was any flaw. He had his bat just flipping up and down, waiting for the pitch, and then when he saw the pitch he wanted, it was just the smoothest swing you would ever seen, almost as smooth as Derek Jeter.
Awesome, yeah.
And
how about his little deal in the outfield when he catch a pop fly?
yeah,
You know, it'd be like,
yeah, he'd just catch it and then he'd just pop it under his arm, pop it up, catch it, and then throw it back.
yeah.
But all right, well, all right, Joe. Before we go, let's take a list right up here. We got lists up here of the names that were voted on but didn't get in. We have some. I'm going to ask you if you think they're Hall of Fame worthy or not. Again, asked you already. Curt Schilling, yes or no?
No.
You don't think he is?
No.
All right. I think a lot of people like him, especially in the media, because of he was a big impact for that comeback against the Yankees. Curt Schilling, you know, just a. I don't know. I think it's his mind that's keeping him out. You know, him saying whatever he wants.
Started out with the Phillies, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
All right, but how about this? Manny Ramirez. This was his first ballot. Power hitter from Boston. Very controversial. This is the guy who liked to take games off, but when he was on, he was on.
No.
Okay.
No. Hall of Fame worthy is Hall of Fame worthy is a player above a player. You know.
Yeah.
So what do you do for your team? You know, every day that makes a difference.
Here's one. I think that it just reminded me of it as soon as you said it. Longtime Yankee catcher Jorge Posada. This was his first ballot, but he only got 3.8% of the vote.
I'd have to say no.
Really, I would say I'd say yes for Jorge Posada and
Great catcher though. I mean,
yeah,
fantastic.
All right, but what about the closer Billy Wagner, also an Astro for a while?
Billy Wagner was
the second best closer in the league forever behind Mariano Rivera.
Absolutely. Billy Wagner was a outfielder in college.
Mm-hmm.
Came and got into baseball. Started off in the Pirates organization. Pirates made him a pitcher, then made him a closer. Unbelievable heat. A small guy that could throw 100 plus miles an hour. If you got that high fastball in and up on you, it's candy bar the door. I mean, but Billy Wagner, great closer. A lot of fun to watch, but I cannot say Hall of Fame worthy. Okay. Cannot say that.
All right. Let's look at some others.
Did he get?
Who?
Billy Wagner.
Billy Wagner, 10.2%. This was his second ballot to be voted on.
I would never even thought that he would be in there. That's crazy.
Yeah, he got more votes than Sammy Sosa.
Love Billy Wagner. He was a great Astro.
Yeah, he was a great closer.
Yeah.
But what about this? This is his first. I think I remember you talking about him a lot. What about Tim Wakefield? He only got 0.2%.
Oh, that's Tim Knuckleball Wakefield.
Yeah, that's a knuckleball pitcher right there.
Yeah, I mean Tim Wakefield, brought the element to baseball. He didn't bring it in there. I mean, Charlie Huff was a great knuckleball pitcher. Tim Wakefield, and there's maybe one or two more, but I mean, man, when that knuckleball was on, it was like guys up there, drunk guys swatting at flies.
Exactly. He's the first popular, I believe, like the first knuckleball pitcher to actually have a great career.
Absolutely, man. I'd say Tim Wakefield all the way.
Long-time Red Sox, right?
Long-time Red Sox, absolutely, yeah. Tim Wakefield, yeah.
All right, so let's.
I want to say threw a no-hitter or two.
I wouldn't doubt it. Throwing a knuckleball doesn't hurt your arm at all, and people can't hit it.
Yeah.
But if people start hitting it and they get used to it, that's when they start just cranking homers. But let's do a couple more. Let's go Vladimir Guerrero. What about him?
Well, Vladimir was a long-time player, solid. Everywhere he went, made a difference. Did he play with the Angels one time?
Oh, he played with started off with the Expos, played with the Angels for a year or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to the 2 World Series with the Rangers,
Yeah.
Orioles, and I think he finishes. I can't remember where he finishes season. I want to say Nationals, but I might be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that.
I think you're probably right.
But this is the guy who he was not good at really making good swing decisions. I'd say that this is a guy who he would. I remember in his time in Texas, maybe he just couldn't see because he was really old. But this guy would sit there, and the ball would be an inch away from the plate, and he'd swing. He'd have this extremely long bat, and he has really long arms. But he would swing, and the bat would basically be completely upside down, and he'd somehow barely get the ball over the fence with the ball an inch above the plate. This guy had so much power in his arms that, it was insane. I think that says right there he had, no, that's not right. That's 449 career home runs.
Very aggressive hitter.
Yeah.
But you knew what you got when you came up to the plate. I mean, it was almost like it was all or nothing.
Yeah.
Strike out or bang it out. Which one are you going to do?
Yeah, that's basically what he was. He didn't really get base hits.
Yeah, but I can't say he's Hall of Fame worthy.
Okay. Here's one who I would say yes to Vladimir Guerrero because, well, definitely a media favorite. He was a guy who overcame things. He was the player for the Expos, and then when they left, he actually left that year and went to I think the Angels.
Right.
What about the pitcher for the Yankees, Mike Messina?
I don't know a whole lot about Mike Messina.
Because that's a guy I'm looking at right now. I'm like, really? But the other guy I'm looking at is another Yankee, Gary Sheffield, a guy who was, I guess you can say, a role player, but definitely had this thing about him to where, he definitely could have been the best player on the Yankees some years.
Started out his career with San Diego. A great outfielder, right? When he played outfielder?
Yeah, played right field.
Yeah, I mean, a great all-around baseball player, a great hitter. Was a difference maker on any team that he was on. A huge difference maker. A player that is definitely the difference between your club winning 10 or 20 more games each year. And I consider him Hall of Fame worthy. Yeah, absolutely, Gary Sheffield.
All right, well. Joel, man, I appreciate you coming as always, dude. This was fun. I really do that. Hope to have you back on.
Cool.
Any other sport,
Yeah.
Let's bring it back on. So, everybody watching, appreciate you joining in, and as always, God bless. Oh man, all right. Actually went a lot longer than I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, that was cool, man.
Yeah,
kind of cool. It's kind of hard stuff to talk about, just a little bit, not too much,
Yeah.
But,
What
I
I'm
freaking
doing,
believe Billy Wagner was in the Hall of Fame.
Get
Are you
voting for it.
serious?
Yeah, he's pretty high up there.
I remember him having like a year or two good seasons. Not that many, but
I think it's because he was. There's not a lot of great closers. Closers are just pitchers you can't.
do you remember Rob Dibble?
No.
He was an awesome closer for the Royals. Every time he pitched, he'd fall off the mound and he'd grab his crotch.
Who the hell am I thinking of? Played for the Dodgers for the longest time. They called him.
You talking about the fat burrito guy? Venezuela?
No. It's an American. I don't know where he went, but he played with the Dodgers for a while. And he was one of the best closers for a while when he was with the Dodgers. Every time he come in, they.
Gagne or something was his name?
I don't think so. White dude had like black goatee, came in all the time, but they had a special name for him. I want to say it was the Heat or something. They always played like fire on the outfield walls when he came in.
Huh.
He threw like in the hundreds.
Yeah.
I don't remember, man.
Dykstra's on there. Is that? I can't see it on this. But isn't Dykstra on there though?
Dexter.
Oh, Lenny
How long has he been retired?
has been out for a while. He got a bad drug problem, and they went bankrupt, and then did some crap. And that was fun, Dylan. You have to buy me back, dude.
Back whenever.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like just doing it good. That's why I really love you calling in. 'Cause I was like, oh look, a new voice. Because
Oh yeah, that was cool, man.
and I'm not gonna lie, you describe things really well, which helped me a lot because a lot of these players I was like, I know a little bit about.
I want to look at that list.
The whole list right there.
Oh wait, no, I didn't go down.
Jared Lee.
Yeah. He played with the White Sox. Oh, yeah, that's the whole.
To the right. Edgar Martinez played for the Mariners forever.